And we are back. Sorry, I feel like I haven't done this for quite a long time. A few odd weeks, I say, because I went to the US for a couple of weeks. Had a little holly bobs, and it's taken me quite a while to get back to my sleeping routine. Well, even that's still not on a complete good schedule, and still adjusting to the time difference. To be quite honest with you, like because they're 8 hours behind, and yeah, so I digress. I'm also using my smaller microphone because I've lost the big one. So yeah, it's all going great so far. But here I am. I'm still showing up and gonna still give an episode out to you guys. So today's episode, I really want to talk about something that we all struggle with ourselves, and it's the way we speak to ourselves. Because honestly, we're actually our biggest critic without even realizing. From the moment we wake up, we see ourselves in the mirror, we're already judging ourselves, right? We're already comparing, we're already picking ourselves apart, and half the time those thoughts aren't even ourselves. It's things we have actually picked up from other people whilst growing up. It's usually the environments we surround ourselves with, the things we see online. Like, it's not our thoughts. We have been so programmed to be so negative to ourselves, and this is what I want to really dive deep into today, and how mirror talk can actually help program our brain to talk nicely to ourselves and think of ourselves in a better and different light. So why are we our worst critics, right? It's crazy how we've only ever learned to criticize ourselves instead to actually show ourselves some love. A lot of harsh things we actually tell ourselves come from the stems from our childhood, schools, old habits, old friendships. Like, they stem from something that isn't actually from ourselves. Moments where we felt like we weren't good enough, we've been misunderstood, or we've been deemed to be as too much. And then we grow up carrying those voices as ourselves. Like, people don't understand. I've said this in I think previous episodes, that our brains are literal sponge as a child. So anything that we consume or we get growing up, we're just gonna soak it all up, and it will come to you to your adulthood. So a lot of things like abuse or neglect or anything that our brain is going to soak up, anything negative wise, even positive, like, it's going to come up to us into our adult ages. Um, that's when a lot of things like addiction and abuse and violence onto other people and to ourselves. A lot of the time, that's probably why we have like murderers, because it's usually stemmed from their childhood. So it's a lot to really think about in how to treat people while they're young and your own children. Like I say, if you're not going to be good to your child, then why the fuck are you having them? Do you know what I mean? So, on top of that as well, we live in a world where we're constantly comparing ourselves to other people. Social media is such a big thing, whether people can look at it in a good light or a bad light. I'm quite in the middle. I get that it has its strengths, but it also has its weaknesses. And, you know, it does become quite detrimental to some people's mental health, everything they see online. I think we need to just try and remember not everything we see online is real. There's people filter their faces, and with obviously the likes of AI really coming into play now, what the hell is real these days, So I guess really trying not to compare yourself to what you see online is just very important. Like, why? No wonder we're all exhausted. No wonder we're constantly criticizing ourselves because of things that we do constantly see online. And I'll put my hand up. I have been a culprit in that. I have definitely compared myself to someone else and the life they're living, but then I just try and tell myself, like, one, it's not real. Two, they're not me. Like, all so different. Like why would you want to be someone else? Like how boring would it be if we're in a world filled of people who are exactly the same? I think being individual and different is so important, and something that I guess doesn't come across that we see most days. I guess a lot of people can follow the crowd, but just be yourself, be your own individual self. Like, being different is good, being different is cool, okay? Don't forget that. And what's mad is that the comments that we tell ourselves seem so normal, like we don't even question them. Like when we say to ourselves, I look rough today, or I look fat today, or I really don't look good today, or I'm very dumb. Like these moments, these micro criticisms, they all build up. You know, there's a big difference in between holding yourself accountable and just tearing yourself apart. You know, one helps you grow, and the other is just going to make you so disgusted in yourself. So, this is where mirror talk comes into play. So, you know, people hear it and think that talking positivity or pretending to absolutely love everything about yourself, but that's not it at all. Like, mirror talk is like simply meeting yourself without judging yourself. You know, it's a way of learning to see yourself and not wanting to immediately attack it. You know, the most simplest things you can say can be so powerful to your subconscious mind. So saying something like, I'm trying, or I'm getting better at this today, or I've made it through today. It's, you know, it's not being fake. It's just like being honest with yourself. And obviously your brain is a muscle, right? The more you train it to do something, the more it's going to learn, the easier it's going to get. And I think because we have been so programmed to criticize ourselves so much, that yeah, it might take a while. It took me a while. Like, I didn't immediately start loving myself, but I have now got to a place where I can look in the mirror and be like, you know what? Yes, this is me. This is my body. This is my life, and I'm so proud of myself to have got to where I am. Like, my body is my home, and if I can't learn to love who I am and myself and the body that I live in, how can I expect to love anyone else, or to anyone else to love me? You know, I've said this before, we're the most important person in our lives, and if we can't love ourselves, then we really need to try. You know, we really need to try. So, how does mirror talk actually work? So, if you want to start mirror talk, start very small. You know, I would probably try at least once a day, just 30 seconds in the mirror of eye contact with yourself. I mean, it might start to feel uncomfortable at first, like obviously looking in the mirror, trying to tell yourself that you're better than you think you are. I mean, it's going to feel uncomfortable, but it's going to be so powerful in the end. Then just say one gentle truth. Nothing too cheesy, nothing that you don't think you're going to believe. You know, like a real one, like, I'm doing my best today. I've got out of bed today and I'm so proud of myself. Or, I really like how I look today, or I done my hair really nice today. It's just little things that over time will become so big and so impactful. And obviously over time those words will become familiar, and your brain will actually start to believe in you and what you were saying. I've just realised I think I've actually done an episode of this, but why not make another one about it, I guess. Because I'm just going through my notes and they sound pretty similar. Oh well, we'll keep going. Yeah, I'm pretty sure when I did this last time that I talked about that the brain doesn't know when you're lying. You know, your brain doesn't have eyes, so obviously everything you're going to tell it is going to believe. So everything negative that you're saying is going to believe those negative thoughts. So that's why it's really important to do the mirror talk, because the more love you start telling yourself, your brain will start to your brain will start to believe it, and then you will become such a more happier person because you're going to feel more confident in yourself, and confidence will get you so much further in life. You know, when you start speaking to yourself even softer, your nervous system is going to come right down. You know, it's going to feel less stressed. Like, there's so many pros to doing a self talk in the mirror. Like, I taught it to my best friend, and she's like, do you know what? I actually have started loving myself so much more, and I feel so much more confident. And I'm like, yes, that's what I want to hear, you know? Here's a fact for you. In a survey about mirror relationship, only 31% of people said they have a positive relationship with their mirror reflection. Do you know that's really sad? Only 31% of people said they basically like themselves when they look in the mirror. And I think that's really a really sad thing to think. Like, a lot of people don't actually like how they look in their reflection, and I really think doing more mirror talk will really help a lot of people, you know, come away from that. In the UK study of 2,000 adults, 21% said they are their own biggest critic, and 27% admitted they wouldn't say some things that they would say to themselves. So they wouldn't say some of those things to others that they would say to themselves. So 27% of people said that what they say to themselves, they wouldn't say to other people. So why are you saying it to yourself, guys? Like, you are the most important person in your life. Like, you are your main priority. And if you're being harsh to yourself, I mean, if you're not going to be harsh to other people, don't be harsh to yourself, people. Come on. You know, one thing I've learned about the brain is, you know, you need to rewrite your inner dialogue. You know, at some point you ask yourself, is this voice actually mine? Because pretty much a lot of the time it's not. And once you actually realize that, then you can start rewriting it. So instead of I'm not good enough, you can say I'm learning. Like, as soon as those negative thoughts come in and you're aware of those, you can literally push them to the side and have a more positive inner dialogue come into play. I think having self awareness is really important when doing this, and noticing when those negative thoughts are going to start coming in. You know, speak to yourself as the same tone that you needed when you were younger, and that alone can help change you. So when your mind is lying to you, just remember those thoughts are not facts. They are negative thoughts that you have got from your childhood and brought into your adult life. They are thoughts, not facts, okay? You know, your mind will make up the worst case scenario because it thinks it's protecting you. So if you catch yourself spiraling, just remind yourself that your brain is trying to help, but it's just actually using the wrong method. It's just using the wrong methods to do so. You know, at the end of the day, I keep repeating this, and I'm gonna keep repeating it until you lot get hold of it. You know, so at the end of the day, you're the person you spend your whole entire life with. Like, you are the most important person to yourself. You know, you might as well try and learn to be on your own side and to love yourself. You know, imagine how different life would be if you just gave yourself the same grace as you give to every single other person. You know, when you be kind to yourself, everything starts to shift. I promise you. You know, how you show up, how you speak, how you love, how you feel, how confident you feel, and how you move, you know, how you move through the world. I mean, so if there's one thing you're going to take from this episode, let it be this. Be kinder to yourself, be more gentle with yourself. You're still becoming someone that you have never been before. You know, it's all a learning curve. That's what life is about, is learning and, you know, realizing and growing. You know, meet yourself with softness, speak to yourself with love, and start treating your inner voice as a place where you feel safe, not scared, because you deserve that. Okay? I think I'm going to close this episode, but if you liked, then please don't forget to like and subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.